Elon Musk warned the West about Filipinos. They didn't listen. And today, as the global workforce is shifting faster than anyone could predict, his words are proving to be one of the most overlooked predictions of our time. In a world obsessed with artificial intelligence, automation, and digital revolutions, Musk saw what no one else dared to admit. While Silicon Valley billionaires were busy betting on machines replacing humans, Musk identified something different. He recognized a force more powerful than algorithms: the intelligence, adaptability, and resilience of Filipinos. From Wall Street to Silicon Valley, his message was clear, yet dismissed. But now, as industries face declining efficiency and struggle to adapt, the world is waking up to what Musk had been trying to tell them all along. Why did they ignore him? And more importantly, what happens now that his warning is becoming reality? Imagine a world where the smartest billionaires didn't underestimate an entire nation's talent, where they saw the truth in front of them before it was too late. One man did: Elon Musk. While others mocked or overlooked the Philippines, Musk made a bold and deliberate move. He saw something no one else did. And now the rest of the world is scrambling to catch up. But how did this happen? How did a country once underestimated rise to become one of the fastest-growing economies in Asia? How did Musk's early recognition of Filipino potential give him an edge over Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and the other so-called visionaries of tech? And why did the West refuse to listen? Musk has always been ahead of the curve. When he said electric cars were the future, they laughed. When he promised reusable rockets, they scoffed. And every time he proved them wrong. But this time, his foresight about the Philippines could be his most important prediction yet. So what exactly did he see? And why is the entire world suddenly paying attention? Decades ago, long before the headlines praised Tesla and SpaceX, Musk quietly recognized something in the Filipino people that others dismissed. While tech giants poured billions into Silicon Valley and China, Musk looked somewhere unexpected: the Philippines. And no, it wasn't just about cheap outsourcing or cutting costs. He saw something bigger. He saw a workforce of problem solvers, engineers, and innovators. He saw skills, adaptability, and sheer determination that could fuel the most ambitious projects on Earth and beyond. At a time when Tesla was being ridiculed and SpaceX labeled a fantasy, Musk was making strategic moves. While others reduced the Philippines to call centers, he saw untapped potential: engineers, software developers, and technical experts capable of building the future. SpaceX needed minds to perfect its rockets. Tesla demanded innovation in AI and battery technology. And Musk knew exactly where to look: the Philippines. So why did the West ignore him? Why did they continue dismissing a nation of raw brilliance until it was too late? The answer lies in perception. The West saw the Philippines as a country of service agents. Musk saw a country of creators and visionaries. While others looked down, he looked ahead. This wasn't just about business. It was about shaping the future of entire industries. While Western corporations mocked or ignored the Philippines, Musk quietly brought Filipino engineers into projects in AI, robotics, and automation. Tesla's precision manufacturing demanded some of the world's best microelectronics talent. And many of them weren't in California or Beijing. They were in Philippine universities waiting for opportunity. While Zuckerberg obsessed over ad revenue and algorithms, Musk was launching satellites. In 2022, he shocked the world by choosing the Philippines as one of the first Southeast Asian nations to access Starlink. And it wasn't just about internet speed. It was about breaking barriers that had held back a generation of Filipino innovators. For decades, poor infrastructure, slow internet, constant outages, monopolized networks kept Filipinos from competing fully on the global stage. No matter how brilliant they were, they struggled against unreliable systems. Musk saw the problem and fixed it. Almost overnight, Starlink transformed the landscape. Filipino programmers began collaborating in real time with teams across the globe. Data scientists in Manila could build AI models without worrying about lost connections. Startups in Cebu pitched investors without fear of dropped calls. Suddenly, the Philippines wasn't just participating, it was competing. But here's the kicker. While the West still viewed the Philippines as an outsourcing hub, Musk saw a technology powerhouse in the making. He wasn't betting on cheap labor, he was betting on Filipino talent. And that bet is paying off. For years, flawed IQ tests and global rankings painted Filipinos as less intelligent than their Asian neighbors. The world accepted it. Investors overlooked the Philippines. They believed the numbers, not the people. But Musk didn't care about those numbers. He cared about results. IQ tests don't measure resilience, the ability to rise and thrive under adversity. They don't measure creativity, the skill to innovate with limited resources. And they certainly don't measure adaptability, the power to learn, unlearn, and evolve at lightning speed. These are the very traits that define the Filipino workforce. And these are the traits the West ignored. But Musk didn't. That's why he made his move early. That's why he's winning. And now, as the world wakes up, the question is clear. Is the West already too far behind? For years, while the world obsessed over test scores and rankings, Filipinos were quietly building the backbone of global technology. Filipino engineers were designing AI systems powering Silicon Valley. Filipino scientists were pushing medical breakthroughs. Filipino cybersecurity experts were protecting global finance. The West didn't see it. Musk did. He wasn't blinded by academic elitism or outdated metrics. He looked at the results, and the results were undeniable. Filipino programmers became some of the best problem solvers in the industry. Aerospace engineers from the Philippines were building key components for SpaceX and Boeing. Filipino doctors and researchers were pioneering robotic surgery and telemedicine. Despite coming from a nation wrongly branded low IQ, they weren't just keeping up, they were surpassing those considered superior. And now, as the truth becomes impossible to ignore, the world is finally admitting what Musk saw years ago. The Philippines isn't just a player in the global economy, it's the future. Elon Musk warned the West. They didn't listen. Now the world is scrambling to catch up. The only question left is, can they? Elon Musk didn't just see another market. He saw something far greater. He saw a gold mine of human potential, a nation overflowing with thinkers, builders, and innovators ready to transform the future. And today, the same investors who once dismissed Filipinos are now scrambling to hire them. The same institutions that ignored Filipino talent are now partnering with them. And the same countries that ridiculed the Philippines are now studying its education system, desperate to understand how a so-called low IQ nation is suddenly outperforming them. The myth of Filipino inferiority is dead, and those who believed it are now paying the price. But here's what most people forget. The Philippines wasn't always underestimated.
In the early 20th century, the country stood as one of Asia's brightest economies. It was a prime investment hub. American, Spanish, and Japanese investors poured money into agriculture, manufacturing, and infrastructure. Manila wasn't just another city. It was the Pearl of the Orient, a thriving center of trade and opportunity that drew business leaders from around the globe. The Philippines had everything: rich natural resources, a strategic location in Asia, and an English-speaking population that made it even more attractive to foreign investors. During the American colonial period, U.S. influence shaped its economic policies, and for a time, the nation thrived. Even after independence in 1946, the Philippines remained one of Southeast Asia's most advanced economies. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. Political instability, corruption, and mismanagement quietly slowed the momentum. By the 1960s, the warning signs could no longer be ignored. Foreign investors began pulling back as bureaucracy, corruption, and inconsistent policies drove them away. Meanwhile, countries like South Korea and Taiwan were launching bold industrialization programs that would soon propel them far ahead. The 1970s and 1980s brought what looked like prosperity. Big infrastructure projects during the Marcos era gave the illusion of strength, but behind it was crippling foreign debt, crony capitalism, and economic mismanagement that would eventually implode. By the time the People Power Revolution ended the dictatorship in 1986, the country was drowning in debt. Industries were collapsing, investor confidence was shattered, and the Philippines had lost its economic footing. Meanwhile, Singapore, a nation once behind the Philippines, surged forward under Lee Kuan Yew's disciplined leadership. It became a global hub for investment, technology, and finance, while the Philippines became a cautionary tale of missed opportunities. Singapore streamlined policies, while the Philippines got stuck in red tape and inconsistent governance. But the story didn't end there. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, the Philippines began clawing its way back. Government after government attempted reforms to restore investor confidence. Slowly, progress returned. By the 2010s, the country experienced a resurgence. Business process outsourcing, BPO, real estate, and renewable energy drove growth. Credit ratings improved, investments flowed again, yet the same old problems lingered: corruption, weak infrastructure, and protectionist policies. These barriers continued to hold the nation back from realizing its full potential. The question today isn't whether the Philippines has the resources or talent to rise. The real question is whether it can finally break free from its past and claim its rightful place among the world's economic giants. And this is where Elon Musk's foresight comes in again. Always ahead of the curve, Musk saw what was happening before anyone else. He saw a new generation of reform-minded leaders demanding transparency, pushing digital transformation, and fighting to open the economy. He saw the Philippines slowly but surely carving out its spot on the global stage. Technology-driven industries began to expand, renewable energy projects grew, infrastructure modernization was underway, and foreign investors started looking again. Musk saw it all before the rest of the world, and he acted. He knew if he invested early, he could ride the wave of transformation. And as foreign capital returned, one question hovered over the nation. Would the Philippines finally escape the cycle of corruption and missed chances, or would history repeat itself? But this time, the momentum feels different. Experts are now predicting that by 2030, the Philippines could become one of Asia's largest economies, standing alongside powerhouses like Japan, South Korea, and India. With a young, tech-savvy workforce, booming industries, and Musk-backed innovations, the Philippines is moving faster than ever before. Silicon Valley may have been the birthplace of technology revolutions, but Manila and Cebu are now stepping up as the next innovation hubs. Once seen only as an outsourcing capital, the Philippines is evolving into a leader in artificial intelligence, robotics, and even space exploration. Filipino engineers are no longer just coding for Musk's AI projects. They're leading teams designing self-driving cars, neural networks, and breakthrough technologies that are reshaping industries worldwide. And that's only the beginning. The Philippines' presence in space exploration is growing at breakneck speed. Filipino scientists and engineers are working directly with SpaceX on ambitious projects, from Mars colonization to advanced space station development. Locally developed satellites are now entering the trillion-dollar space economy. Filipino researchers are producing breakthroughs in renewable energy to power long-term missions beyond Earth. The Philippines is no longer just a participant. It is shaping the future of artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and space exploration. By 2030, the transformation will be undeniable. A country once known primarily for overseas remittances will become a global magnet for high-tech manufacturing and investments. Cutting-edge semiconductor plants, AI-driven factories, and biomedical research centers are already emerging across Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The Philippines is also diving into frontier technologies like electric vehicle components, quantum computing, and next-generation robotics. Filipino-made innovations are no longer niche. They are becoming indispensable to industries in Europe, North America, and beyond. And while the Philippines rises, the very billionaires who once scoffed at its potential are now scrambling to catch up. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and other tech titans are rushing to secure a foothold in the market they once ignored. But the truth is, they're already too late. Musk has already secured partnerships, recruited top talent, and invested in the infrastructure that makes this revolution possible. The Philippines has grown its own unicorn startups, created its own brands, and is now competing directly with Western tech giants. So, what does this mean for the West? The opportunity was right in front of them. They could have invested early. They could have collaborated. They could have embraced the Filipino workforce that was eager to rise. Instead, they brushed them aside, blinded by stereotypes and outdated thinking. Now, the tide has shifted. The Philippines is no longer just a developing country on the sidelines. It is becoming a powerhouse, a force the world cannot ignore. So, the final question is this: will the West finally wake up to reality? Or will they keep underestimating the Filipino people until it's too late? Elon Musk warned them. They didn't listen. But the story of the Philippines is just beginning. With visionary leadership, bold investments, and the relentless determination of its people, the nation is on a clear path to greatness. And now it's your turn. Do you believe the West will finally wake up to what's happening? Or are we watching the beginning of a new global power shift? The choice is no longer in Musk's hands, it's in the world's.